Greetings and welcome back, everyone, to episode 42 of the Angry Chicken, the Hearthstone podcast. I'm Garrett Weinsoul, and I'm joined today, as always, by Willie Dills Gregory and Jocelyn Moffat. Guys, how you doing?
It can't be unheard. Damn you, Ben Bro.
I still don't hear it. I still don't hear it.
We totally just heard it.
Really?
Although,
yeah.
I don't know what it is, though. It doesn't really sound like a Windows sound.
It's not. So, okay. I mixed that on a Mac. So there's no way there's a Windows sound, first of all.
That's the thing.
I have no clue what actually made that. It's got to be some sort of combination of tones kind of colliding to make that sound.
I don't hear it. It sounds almost like Dills.
Oh, I hear it.
Dills, you play bass.
Yeah.
You've been in bands. It almost sounds like when you kind of smack the strings on a guitar while you're muting the strings.
It's like a clinking of bottles or something. It's like we're telling the Warriors to come out and play. I don't know. It's weird. It's like I don't understand what made that sound, but I definitly hear it now.
I do not hear a Windows error.
Son of a bitch.
I'm hearing a lot of noises in there. I do not hear a Windows error.
Okay. The good news is that the new version is actually pretty much done. I don't know why I didn't get it to you guys by now, but that's what I should do in my heart out tonight is get this done in between.
I'm gonna call you out, Dills. You said it was pretty much done, and they're tackling.
It was, and I actually did the final I just haven't done like a compression and a mix down and all the things that actually make it sound good.
It'll be ready.
But I've done all the mixing
soon.
Yeah, look, it's TM soon. All right, it's cool. Don't worry.
Yeah, because we've had multiple fans of the show who are waiting to help us make an intro video for this.
Really, multiple.
We've got more than one person who's just like, I do video editing. I want to make an intro for you guys, and I'm just like, I'll let you know when I have a proper intro, because I know Dills is working on a new one. So at some point we'll have an actual video intro for the show. But
at some point, yes.
Fancy.
TM soon.
Soon TM. Soon TM. Trademark.
How old is this?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. How you doing this week, Jocelyn?
I'm pretty good. Lots and lots of news this week. I'm totally stoked.
You're coming in real robot-y all of a sudden.
Oh.
I heard it too.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Am I robot-y?
No, you sound fine, Dills. You're coming through.
Just Jocelyn? It's that Canadian internets.
Yeah.
Hey, in my defense, this is the first time ever I've been robot-y.
It is.
Whoever is in charge of your internets is probably on some sort of weird Canadian holiday, which seems to happen every single week. What is it?
It's not actually a holiday this week.
It's Blue Jays Day or something, or Maple Leafs Day. What is it?
Yes,
Maple
that's all we have up
Day?
here.
Maple syrup day is every day in my house. I want you to know. I put that on everything.
The greatest thing Canada ever produced, maple syrup. And Jocelyn.
Yeah, thanks. Right here.
I honestly, I think you're putting yourself on a bit of a pedestal if you think you can contend
I think I'm up there with
with
maple
the
syrup.
deliciousness that is pure
That's
maple
true.
syrup.
We're just gonna drop this right
that crap's
there.
expensive.
Sure.
I don't know about you guys.
I think it's got more legs.
All right, cool. I will just cut it right here and move directly in the news then.
Good news, everyone!
Good news, everyone. Jocelyn matters more than maple syrup. Yeah, we'll justify your existence a little more. Yong Woo went out to Gamescom, which was going on all this past week, and did a little interview on the subject of none other than Hearthstone, and we've got some highlights here for you. Yong Woo said that at high levels of play, there was a surprising amount of deck diversity, that there isn't just one deck that beats everything, which we kind of knew this, but it's interesting hearing it directly from them. And then he said that statistically, decks that do break the 50% win ratio don't tend to be above that ratio by very much. It's usually only a couple of a percentage.
That makes sense when you're looking at overall stats. I think though there's certain players who can pilot one of these very good decks to very high win percentages. So when you look at overall percentages, it's going to be all the people playing that kind of deck. And then, of course, there's variations within each deck as well. But I've seen certain players at very high levels win 90% of their games with the most powerful deck of the moment. Recently it's been the Hunter, and I think I saw Reynad win 15 games in a row with it the other day. So, overall, yes, and Yong Woo knows, but But that doesn't mean that
Dills knows
certain
more.
decks. No. That doesn't mean that certain decks aren't completely OP in the hands of certain players. Like any deck with Kalento is just OP.
I mean, I'm feeling this a lot lately because I don't know about you guys, but usually like a season would come and I'd screw around a little bit with different decks, and then I'd just kind of settle like, okay, I'm gonna be Control Paladin this season. And I kind of just beat that into the ground for that whole season. But since Naxx, I have had hardcore deck ADD. Like, I cannot decide what deck I want to stick with. I'm gravitating towards the Control Warrior the most. I really enjoy the deck. I love how consistent it is in the different kind of complex situations you can find yourself in it. I dislike how absurdly long my games go.
Oh, they last forever.
Yeah,
it's a problem, especially when you get the mirror match going or a control priest or something like that. You basically know you're going to fatigue, so it's not a great deck for grinding up the ladder early on in the early stages. It's much better for rank 5 to legend, and then once you get to legend, then you're trying to get high rank legend. Not that I know anything about that, but
No, not at all. How far have you made it?
This season, I actually have to make an admission here. I basically didn't play it all last week except for one night when I streamed, and I don't know, real life just got in the way, and all of my early momentum this season just completely fizzled out. And so I'm still at like rank 9 or 8 or something like that. Just couldn't find the time.
How dare you, Dillis? How dare you? How dare you let life get in the way?
Yeah, I mean, I had stuff that buying a car, and then the stuff that comes along with that. I had to go get it freaking detailed and load jacked and whatever. I'm mad at my car right now. That's what I'm saying.
Already?
No, I actually love my car. I love it so very much.
I'm seeing like the light at the end of my lease tunnel, and I'm just like, I want a fast car next. I'm done with hybrids. I want a fast car.
Yeah?
Yeah. I miss my Mustang like hell.
Ooh. I see. Okay, my car's got pickup, but I kind of want a hybrid because I had to fill up the gas tank for the first time. I was like, oh god, the pain. It's like $50.
Yeah, I got the hybrid when I was doing a lot of driving. Now I work from home, so when I only drive on weekends.
Yeah, you don't give a crap.
I wish I was having fun while I was doing it. It's like I only drive on weekends.
To find. Sorry to interrupt. I'm trying to find an article because recently, I think it was Hearthstone players did an article on what like some of the top legend players were playing, and they had 9 different decks for all these players, which I'm just pointing at highlights Yong Woo's point here.
Yeah.
And this last thing was that you can play a lot of different kinds of decks at the top, even though everyone says everyone's playing Hunter, and it is kind of true. There's a lot of other decks that are going on. There's some really cool demon decks out there. A lot of really cool control warriors. I've seen some really cool shaman.
That deck is so cool. It's like this bizarre hybrid between like kind of the mid-range of Zulok combined with Demon Synergy, and on the tail end of it is Handlock because there's Molten Giants. Like,
and the return of Jiraxxus too. Which is kind of fun.
I played my buddy Kyle from Into the Nexus the other day, and we had a Jiraxxus versus Jiraxxus face-off at the end of our duel. It was so ridiculous.
That's awesome. I'm also noticing the big return of the Ooze and the Harrison Jones, because the Hunter with the Mad Scientist and the axes, or the crossbows or whatever, is back. And not only that, but you're still seeing a lot of rogues, and of course the Control Warrior is very big now too with the Death Bite.
Mad Scientist, that would be Eaglehorn Bow, wouldn't it be, for the secret?
Yeah, Eaglehorn Bow. Sorry, yes. So the Eaglehorn Bow is back in a big way because of the Mad Scientist, and now you're also seeing a lot of Control Warrior. So, and then once Jiraxxus made its way back in, Oozes and Harrison actually made a big comeback. So there's interesting things going on right now, which is I think what we expected, right?
Yeah.
With the Naxx cards, lots of shakeups.
Yeah. The new Kalento, like kind of semi-aggro with a little control sprinkle paladin. I'm loving that.
Oh
deck.
yeah,
it's so different. I love it. It's like, I don't know. It's like the culmination of all the paladin decks since the game is released. It kind of takes parts from all of them and remixes it.
It's like a mid-range paladin where it basically has something to play on every turn.
Yeah, yeah, but the weird thing is at the low end of the mana curve, it looks like a Zulok deck.
Sure,
it's so strange.
Sure.
I really
you
like
still
it.
Have you still have your Tyrion and all that stuff in there too.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Tons of possibilities throughout, which is really interesting, and that's kind of I think I feel like, and we've talked to Ben a few times now, and we've talked to Yong Woo over Twitter and stuff. I kind of feel like that's what Blizzard wants this game to be, is not just everyone's playing controller, everyone's playing aggro. It's you have a card to play every turn, and then you trade those cards, and whoever does the better trades and the most efficient use of their mana every turn is the one who wins in the end.
Yep.
And it feels like where we're headed, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, the game's in a real awesome spot right now, thanks to Naxx. Continuing on with some of the highlights, it kind of expanding upon his previous comment. Yong Woo said that he really thinks players should just pick a deck that you're excited about playing. Don't pick the top deck, because also as we're kind of seeing, there really isn't a top deck. It changes from day to day.
The top deck is real. What are you talking about? Sorry. Well, the Twitch chat just came out of me right there. But yeah.
But just pick something that you love and play it.
Well, and Yong Woo does this all the time, usually with whatever class is like the least liked. He did it with Hunter, then he did it with Priest, and he basically just like makes a super awesome deck and plays it for fun and takes it pretty high up the ladder and then calls it his revolution. So, he's very well known for playing like this.
Yeah, no, Amaz said something really similar in his interview after DreamHack. That, regardless of what the meta states, if you've played this, if you've logged X amount of games with a said class, you're just going to understand it. You're going to have a good understanding. You're going to make the right calls in given situations. So,
okay, guys, I have a question.
Yeah.
What is the worst class right now, in your estimation?
I do not.
What is at the bottom of the list?
I don't know.
It's not Priest anymore. Priest is really good.
Druid?
Yeah, that's hard to say. Druid is too, because Druid is always so good. I have no clue what the bottom is right now.
My answer is I don't have an answer for you.
I really don't know.
They all have. You know what? Our friend
maybe
Brian,
Mage.
Maybe. But there's still some Mage decks that are making waves. I'd probably go with Mage, but honestly, I'm not. I stick with it. I'm really not sure. It's funny. Our buddy Brian, who made the intro music for this show, he's never played Hearthstone in his entire life. I just recently got him into it. So he's been like texting me daily. He's just like, dude, what's the best deck? And I'm like, if you had asked me 4 weeks ago, I would have had an answer for you. But I don't know. There's viable decks for every single class. Just go out there, find the flavor you like, and have fun.
Yeah, I feel like the freeze mage has kind of gone away, but I'm starting to see some mad scientist secrets mages kind of come out, and they're pretty interesting. I found the article, by the way. It was buried in Reddit, but
just go ahead and link it in the
GoSueGamers.net. So I'll put it in the chat room as well.
Yeah, throw it in the show notes.
But it's pretty interesting. So we got 9 players: Nimsh, Raynad, RDU, Dark Wanix, Amaz, Reels, Masan, Sixo, and Forsen, and asked them what they were playing currently while they're trying to grind to the top of the legendary ladder. So they all had different answers, and they're all completely different decks than the other one. Nobody even said, because you could have put this question out 2 seasons ago. At the end, was it 2 seasons ago? And everyone would have said Miracle Rogue of some sort. Now it is all over the place, and it's awesome.
Yeah. Continuing on, Yong Woo said that the Team 5 isn't really interested in going with the 10th class yet. That they said that they think there's still so much. I'm not actually answering this question right now live. You realize there? I'm just quoting a man.
Yeah. But I'm still booing you.
Thanks.
I don't know why.
Thanks. Getting
I don't know. I don't think it's so bad. They just released 30 new cards. If they're gonna do a big expansion sometime in the near future, then I don't really think, just seeing the impact that 30 cards have had, I don't know if we really need a 10th class right now.
I think no, yeah, boo.
Boo, Jocelyn, boo.
I'm only booing because, as I told Ben Brode last week on the show, the way things work when you're a podcaster is you think of a thing you want in the game, and then you say, yeah, put it in the game right now. Go, let's do this.
What are you waiting for?
So yeah, I want my monks and I want my death knights. And
I'm okay with this answer, since we were told that the next bunch of cards we're getting is going to be a large group and more in line with traditional card game expansions. I'm fine with that, as long as we're getting a butt ton of cards, which is a technical term.
Technical term in CCGs, butt ton.
Butt ton. I'm fine waiting on another class. So
it's fine. It's all. I mean, all of it's fine. Honestly, I mean, how long did we have to wait in World of Warcraft to get, the 10th class?
The second expansion, which was 4 years in, 5 years in,
yeah, a lot of years.
Pretty deep.
I mean, I guess they gave us paladins and shaman. They allowed us to have them on the other faction, but come on, it was a long time.
I mean, honestly, break this down. They're gonna have to figure out how to really further develop an existing class. Yes, we got new class cards in this expansion, but this adventure, but we got one each. If they're gonna do a 150 card expansion, which they haven't given a figure, by the way, I'm just throwing numbers out. I feel like that's a safe estimate looking at other card games that do 200, 300 card sets.
Yeah.
For those other card games that do like 200 card sets, what is their like base original game? Like what percentage new cards is that?
More than
this
half,
is a test,
usually.
Garrett.
Well, like I'm trying to think. Like I don't know off the top of my head, but I feel like a base set of Magic cards is over 300, and then usually the following expansions are like 200 plus.
Mm-hmm. It's almost like replacing the entire set.
Yeah,
right.
and it's different.
So then
usually,
it wouldn't be if Hearthstone went down that road. We could be looking at, because there's 400 cards right now, so we could be looking at 250 even.
Possible, but I mean, if they
possibly.
The fact that we only got 30 in this adventure, I don't know. It's so hard because their team size is just recently grown, and then you also had they had to sit there and develop the bosses. So that if they're just focusing on cards, I don't know what they're capable of.
I think honestly, 100 cards all at once would be fine. I mean, 100 cards all at once. We're not throwing out old cards necessarily. I don't know. That could happen.
That is a good point.
I don't know if that's going to happen or not. I kind of feel like with Hearthstone that wouldn't happen, but it could. And I think 100 cards, if you just threw them in there and didn't get rid of anything, would really liven things up and make things completely different. Now, if you're talking about throwing some cards out, then you want to talk maybe about 150, 200.
Yeah, no, I think I'm agreeing with your first statement, though, because in the spirit of keeping Hearthstone very easy to understand, easy to pick up and play, I don't see how they could elegantly remove cards.
I also feel like removing cards is it's a little sketchy in a game like this. People may have dusted a bunch of stuff to get a card, then they throw it out, and that feels bad. And I know that they don't want to make people feel bad. So
right. So they have to do something like with Magic, where you have all these different types where and like Modern you can't use X amount of cards, and then in Standard you can't use X amount. But somewhere there exists a format where you can use your crazy card that's 10 years old, and that would just get really bogged down and complicated in a game like this. I would love it. I would love it in limited, in Arena, and if we ever got my dream of competitive limited Hearthstone, I would love it if we had we're only playing from the Ice Crown set, everyone. That's what this tournament is. But as far as constructed is concerned, I don't know how they could ever elegantly gate that.
Well, they don't have to worry about necessarily on the ladder, because they can just allow everyone to do whatever. But then a tournament organizer can decide on his own if he wants to do something like that. It's, totally up to them. But I don't think that they have to make that. Blizzard doesn't really have to make that determination if they don't want to. If it doesn't fit, it doesn't feel right, I don't think they will.
Yeah, absolutely. They said for the next, we already talked about that. Sorry. In future expansions, they said they'll be returning to more traditional things like adding new boosters to get new cards.
Okay.
I'm really happy about this. We've had this discussion in the past. They're like, oh, new expansion. I really don't want to buy the same booster for a chance of getting the cards I already freaking have.
Yeah.
It
doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
it needs to be a separate type of pack that you buy for 100 gold and gives you only cards from the new set.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense to do it the other way.
Yep. Windows 8 tablet support was recently added to the game. I didn't know this because I don't have a Windows 8 tablet, but this is awesome.
Yeah, it's in there. You could play, and they actually just did a little patch to fix something. Alt-Tab should now function properly on Windows 8. Okay. Sure. I don't have Windows 8 machine.
The new Surface looks kind of sexy for Photoshop, so if I ever get one, I'm happy to know that I can play Hearthstone, natively.
That's going to be the determining factor, isn't it?
Can I
play Hearthstone? I can.
Yeah.
Okay, well then.
I know I'm saying I'm buying this for work reasons.
Yes.
But really,
That's kind of a work reason if you think about it, right?
It's like, well, I really want a PS4. It's also a Blu-ray player.
For all those Blu-rays you watch, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I'd watch more Blu-rays if I had a PS4.
Exactly. He also said that the mobile team is actively working on an Android release of Hearthstone. The Android tablet release is definitely shooting for release this year. So that's
exciting.
Yeah, we get emails from Android folks quite frequently. So it's nice to hear some kind of update on that.
It's actually not been spoken of for a while, so this is good to hear because I think, we heard at BlizzCon, iOS first, then Android soon after, and then the phones, and then we kind of didn't hear anything for a really long time. So this is good to hear.
Yong Woo mentioned the phones too, and said that a phone version is coming this year.
Oh my God!
Or not? He says we'll see phone versions of Hearthstone this year, but does that mean we'll see it like a demo, or they'll be released? Yeah, exactly. We go to BlizzCon and they have a couple like iPhones chained to the wall, like, hey, come check it out.
I want Hearthstone on my phone so bad that I'm playing the stupid WWE Superstars card game right now.
Oh, you are not playing that.
Oh yeah, I'm totally playing that.
I don't think I want Hearthstone on my phone.
I do,
because I'll never
I also understand.
I will never get anything done. I don't think it's going to be too small. I trust Blizzard will figure out a way to make it playable. I'm just afraid for my free time.
Yeah,
I'll never get anything done.
It's a little scary.
Yeah,
I've been playing a lot on the way to work because I'm doing that whole linking my phone to my iPad thing, and I don't want to see my bill.
Now that has to make your commute kind of awesome though, because I always hate being on the bus because my bus ride was 15 minutes. It wasn't long enough to actually sit down and do anything, but there was a small period of time where I was taking a BART train to go places, and I actually really enjoyed it because I could sit down and get a lot of stuff done. I could read books or whatever it was, listen to podcasts. If I could sit and play Hearthstone all the way,
you'd never get off the bus.
Ride, I would be like, "Oh, there's a delay. That's cool." I just wanted to rake
that
up
actually
anyway.
That's a whole lot what it's like. Like I'm coming home and then I have to cross the bridge to get home. So it's like all stopped up on the bridge and stuff, and I'm just like, looking up every 10 minutes. Where am I? Who cares? Okay.
Oops, this must stop. That's all right though, because I didn't miss Lethal, so it's cool.
Half an hour later, Jocelyn gets a call from Joel. Where are you? I don't. I don't know.
Well, I'm at rank 4. Where are you? Oh, okay.
That's great. I love it. And continuing on talking about the phone versions, Yong Woo said that a lot of design work is going into it, and that it isn't easy to take a game that needs a full screen and make it work on a smaller device like that, which I believe.
Say.
I can't wait to see the phone version because I'm really curious about how the design works.
This statement falls into the Yong Woo says something totally obvious category, which is that making Hearthstone and putting it on a phone screen is not easy. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Thanks for confirmation.
I really want to shine a spotlight on the chat room real quick because there's a conversation in there that's just making me happy as hell. Tactical Bacon said, "When is the N64 version of Hearthstone coming?" And Sailor on a Wine Dark Sea says, "As soon as they figure out Rumble Pack support."
Exactly.
Bam.
I'm still waiting on Neo Geo version because I got to pull that thing out and get some use out of it.
I've got my Game Gear that takes 6 AA's and it lasts for about 45 minutes. How are you going to make it work on that is what I want to know.
Yeah. Look, I'm going to play a little bit of Altered Beast, and then I want to play some Hearthstone after I'm done. So
Altered
make it happen.
Beast. Oh, my God. You just made my night, Dills. Thank you. Speaking of obvious statements, that's what our next news piece is. Final Wig of Nax comes out this week on Wednesday. So go enjoy that. Kick some Kel'Thuzad ass.
Yeah, we finally get to complete all the heroics and get the card back and get all of the cards. We'll have the full set once this happens.
I have an admission to make. I haven't even started heroic.
Whoa!
I beat the first wing, but then I think I've only beat one boss in the second wing on heroic, and
it's
that's
really fun, you guys. You should get in there because it's a puzzle game on its own. It's a different way to play Hearthstone. It's solving puzzles. It's not trying to win a game against another person. So it's a cool little side game It's a mini game within Hearthstone, so I recommend.
I think I've been relying too much on the classes that I'm really comfortable with, like trying to beat certain bosses with like a hunter or my warlock or even the control warrior. It just doesn't work. And then so I'm just like, oh man, now I have to try to branch out. And I'm like, I don't know a lot of the rogue stuff or the priest stuff. And I'm just like, oh.
I'll recommend Priest for most of it. I think Priest is actually a fairly good all-around class for a lot of the heroics. So, if you're stumbling a little bit, try using a little Priest deck.
It's amazing how good the heal is in there, because we always talk about healing being kind of crappy in actual Hearthstone because you're just losing slower. Losing slower is really important in heroics configure.
It is actually.
That's what I find. I seem to lose within like 6 or 7 turns, and I'm just like, oh.
You can't have slow starts against any of the heroic bosses, pretty much. You need to figure out a way to get going early and maintain momentum. There's a few things, though. This is one of the things that I really like about it, is that there are these actual serious puzzles with multiple answers. So talk about something like heroic 4 Horsemen. I went in there thinking, oh, Priest is perfect because Shadow Word Pain will kill these 1/7s, and that is a good way to kind of clear the board and then get ready to then swing in and get that 14 points of damage that you need to kill the boss. I had never even thought about some stuff that some other people came up with that was really clever, which is play Rogue, play Crazed Alchemist, the middle one, turn him into a 7/1, and then play Betrayal and kill both ones on each side. Who are ones like there's really cool ways to come up with the actual solution to these puzzles.
Yeah,
that there's not just one answer, and that's what's really cool about it. They did a great job designing these so that you can get in there and get creative and figure something out, and you can tweak your deck a little bit and find a new way to deal with the same problem everyone else has found another way to deal with.
I find too, like, since I'm really, really trying where it is a puzzle, I'm really trying not to check online and find any decks or, just I'm going back to my old Jocelyn ways where I'm just like, no, I have to do it all myself. And I haven't sat down really and taken the time to figure it out. I've tried very, very hard and bashed my head against the wall on some of them for, an hour or two and then just gone, screw this. So I think I just need to think about it differently.
Old Jocelyn ways. It's just Jocelyn sitting on an internet porch saying, get off my lawn, internet.
I think that's a really satisfying way to play this, though, is to go ahead and try doing that. You really do want to sit there and think about what just happened in that fight. Think about the cards they played. Think about what's in. You can't just go, oh, well, I need to tweak this one little thing. There's some pretty complex stuff going on. So I encourage you on this one. Normally, I'm like, Jocelyn, go out there and net deck. Come on, stop being so stubborn. But no, I'll give it to you on this one. Go ahead and bang your head against it.
I think it's a very personal preference. I mean,
yeah.
For me, I don't know. For me, this is the thing I'm least interested about in Hearthstone. I want to get out. I want to play other people. I want to do arena. I want to play with the new cards. For whatever reason, I just have had no interest to do the heroics. I think part of it is I'm just not that enticed by one card back.
Well, when it's the most
on the flip
badass
side,
card
I totally am.
Yeah,
I literally was like tweeting out trying to find out if our next story was included in the digital deluxe version. I thought I was going to have to go and buy a collector's edition just to get the I'm skipping ahead. I'm trying not to.
Thank God, right? Oh man, I was going to be pissed if I had to shell out another $100 or $50 or whatever for the. I've been mad at you, Blizzard.
We're getting a Warlords of Draenor card back,
but which is so cool looking.
You do need to get the collectors, but it works for either physical or digital.
Yeah, because I pre-purchased the digital deluxe edition like way as soon as it became available because I wanted my boost. And I knew obviously I was going to buy it anyway. So
it gives you some other cool crap, and it's fine. But I don't want to go out and get a whole box thing.
I haven't figured it out yet because I usually like getting the boxed copies for Blizzard games.
You like the artwork books.
I do like the art books, but I like
the art books are really cool.
For Lich King, they were completely sold out. I could not find it anywhere locally, so I just ended up eBaying the art book. So it's not possible to get the art books without it. Oh, just smacked my mic. I apologize.
This one has a really cool DVD and stuff too, with some behind the scenes stuff, and I'm excited for that. But I'm still not gonna get it.
Yeah,
It's just going digital.
I looked at that, and at first I was like, oh my God, that's so cool. You know, like behind the scenes stuff, the stuff that they did when they were talking about how they were building things on the Azeroth Choppers little shows that they did. That was really interesting. They're talking about building the Sky Golem and stuff. I was like, oh man, more of that. But then like I was thinking about it and I was like, it's only like an hour of content. And I'm kind of like, oh, that's a bit of a letdown. I kind of wish it was like more. I don't know.
five DVDs. Of...
Yeah, 5 DVD set, like the Lord of the Rings extended edition commentary or something. Like
Here's
just hours
an
and hours
evening
and
with
hours.
Chris Metzen. He's just him in a smoking jacket by the fire.
You know they should do that though. I know that's a lot of work, but this is how it works on a podcast. We think of something, and you should just do it.
And you do it.
And he just sits there and does his intro speech from BlizzCon, but it's very calm and collected. He's just like, Alliance, Horde.
This is where we came up with Geek Is. It was amazing.
Oh my God. Oh jeez. Yeah, up to you. For whatever reason, the extra $10 is making me think twice about getting it this time, but I'll figure it out.
Okay. I don't know.
Don't matter.
The in-game stuff is enough for digital version for me.
Yeah,
but
exactly. The card back looks
are pretty cool.
The card back for Hearthstone looks totally dope.
It really does.
I like it a lot. I like that Iron Horde look. I love that the Hearthstone logo is just painted on. Like it just looks like war paint on a hunk of iron.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys see the Hearthstone stuff in Garrisons? Did you guys see that?
Yes, I
Yes.
did.
How
That
awesome
looks
is that?
wonderful. Yeah,
That was so great.
You get like vendor trash that's a signed Hearthstone card. That's worth 12 silver.
Yeah.
It says something about like
pretty
Trump on
sweet,
there.
man.
It's great.
Pretty sweet.
No, I love all the Hearthstone references in World of Warcraft. As a matter of fact, I know there's you can go to your Horde or Alliance capital in Pandaria right now, and they have guys playing Hearthstone. But I finally decided to try out the beta this weekend for Draenor, and they got a dude playing Hearthstone right in my garrison. They're just hanging out.
Yeah. So, how did you feel when you started playing it? Because the first time I logged in and did the beta, I guess it was alpha when I did it the first time, but yeah, now it's beta. So there's more stuff that's been added recently, but the first time I stepped in, I was blown away by how sweet everything was as far as UI was concerned. That was the first thing.
Oh, in the garrisons?
No, just in general.
Oh, how
your quest log, and you can sort things in much better ways.
Yeah. Well,
everything.
that's the
you
funny
can sort
thing
your
is
bags without add-ons. It's everything.
that's the funny
awesome.
thing. Some of this functionality is in the game right now, and I haven't seen it because I have had add-ons since the day I started playing World of Warcraft. So, like being forced to use the in-game UI it's really funny. I'm like, wow, this isn't nearly as bad as it used to be. Like I can move my portrait around, and then my target portrait around, my target, yada yada. This isn't a WoW podcast, but yeah, no, it's funny. I had the exact same reaction. I was like, holy crap, I didn't know they made this many improvements to the UI because I don't use any stock UI.
Yeah, it was really kind of a cool moment because that wasn't what I was logging in for. I was logging in to see the content, and instead I just played around with my UI for a while, and then was like, all right, I'm done. That was all I really wanted
absolutely.
to do.
I never like playing World of Warcraft betas because I don't want to spoil it for myself, but because the whole sense of like exploring and seeing zones and monsters for the first time, that's what I really enjoy the most from a new WoW expansion. But I was just like getting the itch. I'm like, I'll go try the Alliance Zone because I probably won't do that for a really long time once the game launches.
Ever. Yeah.
Ever. You're Horde now.
Alliance is stupid.
Nah. Sorry.
Let's go.
All right, let's get into the strategies.
Hit it very hard.
Wanna blow something up? Time to pay!
2 more weeks, folks, this week and next week, and then we are done with our set reviews for Curse of Naxxramas. This week we're forging ahead, though, with the Construct Quarter set review. Let's get right into it, guys. The first card up is none other than the Undertaker. The one mana creature.
Defeated at WrestleMania, unfortunately.
I don't know any wrestling references. Never watched it.
That's for the 5 people who listen to the show and also like wrestling.
unless they were referencing like the N64 wrestling game, I might understand the reference. I don't know. But nonetheless, Undertaker is first up on the chopping block. He is a neutral minion. He has no minion type. He is a common rarity. He costs 1 mana. His stats are 1 attack, 2 health. And he reads, Whenever you summon a minion with Death Rattle, gain +1/+1. Period. Not till end of turn, permanently.
Yep.
Or until silenced or killed. Because that's how this game works. I'm going in reverse order this week. Jocelyn, what'd you give this card?
Oh, but haven't I gone first in the last like 3
No.
weeks?
I like it when Jocelyn goes
No,
first. I think
no.
we should stick
All
with
right.
that.
Dill's went first last week.
So I gave this one a B+ in Constructed and a B- in Arena. I think it's a really, really cool card. It's a 1-drop, so it's really hard to kill off with its 2 health right off the top. And then it goes really, really well with a lot of stuff that I already have in my deck. So most of the decks that I play most often have Leper Gnome, Harvest Golem, the Creeper, the Unstable Ghoul now, my Warrior deck, and then the Nerubian Egg, obviously. So with all of those things with Death Rattle and this there from right on turn 1, I think it goes really well in stuff that I already have going on. And then, I don't know, in Arena, it kind of depends a little bit more than it does in Constructed, because if you haven't picked up a lot of cards with Death Rattle already, then, obviously it's not as good because it does rely on the Death Rattle mechanic. But I don't know, I think it's a pretty solid card. And then, I mean, the odds of getting something common with Death Rattle in Arena has really gone up, because it used to just be Harvest Golem, Leper Gnome, and Loot Hoarder. But now there's 13 different cards that have Death Rattle and are common rarity. So the chances of getting it in Arena have actually gone way, way up. So I don't know. I think it's pretty solid.
I think we're all more or less with you here. I know.
Yeah, I agree with pretty much all of those points. But I do rate it lower in Arena because, like you said, but not much lower than you. You're not guaranteed to get these cards, but it's likely that you'll have some.
Yeah, it's still not too bad. It 1/2 will still trade with a lot of the stuff that's 2/1s, right? So not terrible.
Yeah, in a worst case scenario. Yeah, same. Dills and you and I gave him the same grades. We gave it a B in Constructed and a C in Arena.
Yeah. I like it in Constructed only in the certain decks that are going to go heavy Death Rattle. I wouldn't use this in a deck that only uses, say, Nerubian Eggs and Harvest Golems or something. I think you really have to go heavy Death Rattle.
You have to have more than 4 Death Rattles in there. Yeah.
Yeah, if you go Nerubian Eggs, Loot Hoarders, Leper Gnomes, Harvest Golems, all the crap, you put it all in there,
I feel
this
like
card is going to get major value.
I feel like maybe 6 Death Rattles is the point where I would start considering this.
Yeah, but there's a lot of decks that have that many now, because then you can think about stuff like Cairn and Blood Mage and now the Haunted Creeper. There's just so many Mad Scientists. There's so many cards now where those are good cards, whether you get this benefit or not. And the added bonus of being able to this is far and away better than the Secret Keeper, and the Secret Keeper was in some random weird decks before, not any major competitive decks, but in some fun decks that were based around secrets. And this has way more potential because there's never been a secret deck that had enough secrets in it to make that card actually good.
Yeah, it makes all of your Death Rattle minions worth more because now they're also a pump spell. Like
it's true. They all became
clerics.
Clerics at the same time. Yeah. Every single one of them. So kind of cool.
Yeah, this is a really cool card. I love the design of Undertaker. Good job, Team 5. Good job.
And it's a little bit of a buff to Zoo, isn't it? So
little bit.
The negative effect.
we just got done talking about how there's a bajillion different decks you can run.
True. Zoo's still somehow the most annoying one.
You're fine. It's fine. Everyone's fine.
We're all fine. Doesn't see here.
How are you?
How are you? Yeah.
Who is this? What's your operating number? Going back to the tour show days.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Had a little moment.
I was like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Star Wars. You lose all your nerd cred. Do not pass go. Do not collect 300 Republic credits. So
all the helmets look the same.
You're a terrible human being. Moving on to the next card. Before I never talk to Jocelyn again, we're just gonna keep going. Mad Scientist is the next guy that's up. He's also a neutral minion. I'm sorry, this is so hard. I'm such a Star Wars fan. I just want to rip you apart right now, Jocelyn.
There's like 5 different kinds of stormtrooper helmets. What are you talking about?
I'm throwing you under this.
Oh my god, this is the best ever.
You just hate sci-fi, won't you? You refuse to see Guardians of the Galaxy, the greatest movie in the last half a decade, and you're hating on Star Wars. You have no soul.
I'm not hating on Star Wars.
Kind of sounded like you were.
A little bit.
I don't know.
All the helmets
No,
look the
not
same.
hating on Star Wars.
There's stormtroopers, which have very different helmets, and then you have your Imperial Guards who have their red different helmets, and then you have Boba Fett who has a very different helmet, and Darth Vader and the TIE fighter pilots, and yada yada yada. Mad Scientist. He is a neutral minion. He has no minion type. No one has minion types. It's sad. I want more minion type play. Also common rarity. Costs 2 mana to play. He is 2 attack and 2 health. Okay, not thrilled. Death Rattle. All right, put a secret from your deck into the battlefield. So we've already had a chance to play with the Mad Scientist in one of the challenges. I forget which one now. It was one of the early ones. They're all blending together now.
The mage.
The mage one.
Mage one.
Card.
That's what it was. You're absolutely right. It was in the mage one. So interesting card. It definitely has a place. I'm not super in love with him. Jocelyn, what did you think?
I gave it C's and then slightly worse in Arena, so C- in Arena. It's not as good because we talked about this way before Naxx actually came out and how Mad Scientist was one of the ones we were really interested in seeing how it would play out. And I thought at the time that given that you don't actually have to use the mana to get the secret out, that it would be best in mage decks because mage secrets cost 3 and hunters are 2 and paladins are 1. So obviously best in mage decks. But then there's just not enough things. Like since you don't actually play the secret, then your Secret Keeper, which we talked about a couple of minutes ago, and the Mana Worm don't get the buff that they normally do when you actually play the secret. So it actually takes away some of the functionality from other cards in your deck. So it works really, really well in the Hunter deck, though, as long as you're kind of careful with how you play it, because in the Hunter decks, you want to have like your Explosive Trap out before your Freezing Trap. So, you know, you have to be careful with how you're killing off your Mad Scientist. But overall, I mean, it's best in Hunter, but it's still kind of okay. Not too great. And then if you lose all of your secrets, or if you've played out all of your secrets, and then the Mad Scientist dies, then just nothing happens. So, yeah, I don't know.
And also specifically, it has to be in your deck. If it's in your hand, you don't get any upside from this as well. Okay, I see that. Obviously, Dill's graded this much higher than you or I did, but I feel like the point I'm about to make might be one Dill's going to make, which was obviously I disagree with the mage thing because I feel like you can't look at it from raw what the secrets cost to play. Yes, technically you're getting more value with a mage than a hunter, but in my opinion, the hunter has the strongest secrets in the game, period. Yeah, true. Whereas the mage is really situational.
Well, yeah, the problem with the mage secrets is even though they cost more mana, I wouldn't call them more powerful for what they do. Certain times, counterspell is sick value. You counterspell a lay on hands, it's insane. But you counterspell some crappy 1 mana spell and whatever. But yeah, I feel this card is really good and constructed because you can build a deck that takes full advantage of it. And you're already seeing it. That hunter got measurably stronger with this card, and the fact that and I didn't give it. I'm giving it an A- because I think that the hunter could have gotten stronger based on some of the other cards anyway. But what this card essentially did was made secrets that were unplayable because they took up a card in your hand and they took up mana when you played them. When you get to play them essentially for free, they become really good. And it almost acts as card draw, and it also acts as innervate, essentially, in a hunter deck. Now, of course, you don't get to choose the secret you play.
I was about to say the reason I gave this a C+ and constructed is because I think it has a place and it has an upside, and that's why I gave it a C+, because I think this is going to be in decks. And you definitely build around it somewhat. But I really dislike the idea of being a hunter and not choosing the order in which I play my secrets.
It's true,
but then that's where it comes into play where you only have like 2 kinds of secrets in your deck. So you're not playing a deck with 3, 4, and 5 different types of secrets. You have two, so you know, depending on what you've already played, whether you want to play a secret and then kill the secret keeper, or sorry, the mad scientist, or if you want to.
In this hunter deck that you're referencing, what secrets are being played?
Only explosive and freezing trap. But the thing is I think you guys are. It is only going to ever happen twice during a game. So it's not like this is happening constantly throughout the game where secrets are coming out when you didn't want them to come out. It's only happening twice throughout the game that you're getting a free secret with this card. And at the same time, you're getting a 2/2 in play. You're getting, and you have to remember too that in this hunter deck, the 2-drop was kind of a problem before. We were putting River Crocs in that deck because we just wanted something to play on turn 2. This gives you a card that you feel great about playing on turn 2 because you know on turn 3 or 4 you're going to get a free secret played, as well as being able to play 3 mana and 4 mana worth of stuff on those turns. So it really does is it ramps up your power in the early game and then allows you to get to your Savannah High main with a really big tempo advantage because you were able to play extra mana worth of stuff and extra cards without ever having, you don't even have to draw the card into your hand then play it. It just popped right out of your deck. So because of that, it's just really good if you build the deck around it. And even though it hasn't become a staple in all of the secret classes, I think me and Garrett probably grade a little differently. When I think of the card drastically made up one deck really, really good, that makes it a really good card in Constructed because that's what Constructed is. I decide what's going in here. So in that particular case, it's really good. I just think it's an amazing card. It's gotten so much value for me, and I've been playing with it a ton. And when it's played against me, it's really freaking annoying. So it's I said, it's card draw and innervate basically, and a 2/2 body at the same time for 2 mana. So it's really good.
Well, and you can also, if you keep the number of secrets in your deck fairly small, you can almost pick what it's going to give you. Because if, say, I have an explosive trap out already, and I only have explosive and freezing in my deck, I know I'm going to get freezing trap because even if I still have one explosive left in my deck, it'll keep cycling through until it gets one that it can play. So if you've already got secrets out, it's not like it negates the minion at all.
It's all good points. I would still never give this card an A, but personally.
Yeah, okay, so I wasn't sure about this card, but then I've seen some people play with it. And, actually, Rainhead came out the other day and said that he thinks this is the best minion in the game right now. Which I think is going way too far, but he's known to be a little hyperbolic. But I think that it's one of the best cards that got added in the whole Naxx set, in my opinion. It's really, really good. And even in the decks where even in the Paladin decks, again, you can just choose the secrets that you would potentially want. And the fact, like even though the secret might not be good, the reason it wasn't good is because you had to put the card in your hand, then you had to play the card for the mana. When the card just happens for free and you got to play a 2/2 at the same time, then the secrets are good. That's the thing. It's interesting how the way this card works actually ups its value. If it was, say, play the secret from your hand for free, it wouldn't be very good. But the fact that it just rips it right from your deck and plays it, you drew a card and you played it and you never spent any mana on it. So the value is there.
Yeah, I think you may have talked me into like a B on this.
Yeah,
no way
I think
an
it constructed.
Yeah,
no way an A. Just like I can't. I refuse to give this card an A. But I think you've talked me into a B in Hunter decks. Which means I should
even
give it a B.
Even in Paladin, I've seen it be pretty good because if you can do stuff like redemption and stuff for free, then it's actually pretty
worth
sweet.
it. Yeah, that's a really good point. That's a good point. Avenge just to troll your opponent.
Yeah, but and also secrets too. They alter the way your opponent plays their next turn, and that can sometimes swing games in your favor. Even though the secret, and again, it's the spending 3 mana on the secret, which sucks for a mage. It's spending 2 mana on the secret, which really sucks. So I will say this though, I think I'm grading it down in Arena. I was giving it a B, but I really believe that in Arena you're not going to pick these secrets. So. When you can't specifically choose the secrets you want to go into the deck, then I don't think it's that great.
Okay, so another week.
We're all like, we've talked it out now, so we're all like changing our grades.
I think this is interesting. It's good to listen to, and that's why I like that we each give individual grades and we kind of talk through it. I have no issue changing my grade whatsoever.
Yeah.
I'm giving this card a B now in constructing. Jocelyn looks like you are as well.
Yeah, I did
because
too. Yeah.
Dilge, you made really
I
good
talked
points.
myself out of it. I did that a few times going through these cards. Is I'd start somewhere and then I'd go up and then back down and then up again and down. And I was just like, oh my god, I'm giving this card like 10 different grades.
Yeah, because I mean, at the end of the day, this card really reads like, hey, when I die, just put this card onto the battlefield for free, and that is a good thing.
And it's really good.
Again, we talk about what does the card ask of you. This card asks that he dies. Like
pretty much.
That's a pretty
and the
low
fact is
buried
he's a
entry.
2/2 regardless. So he's essentially only losing one stat to begin with in exchange for playing a card for free.
Yeah.
And drawing the card for free and then playing. And of course he also says what does he say? Hold on.
For science.
For science! He says it all weird. It doesn't say like I do.
Oh. I was like, I thought he had like a soundbite or something. I was gonna tell him what he said, but
No. I was just trying to say it the way he said. I wish it was science.
Hey,
but-
guys.
Yeah.
For science!
Ah, that's right. Derek could just do it.
I love this setup. Buy a mixer if you're a podcaster. Do it. It makes your life so much better.
I think though that there's another point here that needs to be made, and that's people are saying this in chat right now, is that this card actually made Flare really good again, because Flare was only good against Freeze Mage and the Mirror match, and now Flare is really good again because you're seeing a ton of hunters playing this card. The secrets are back in hunter decks, and
It's like,
Flare almost seems too good now.
Yeah, it's like Harrison Jones and Black Knight. Kind of goes in and out of fashion if there's a lot of weapons, if there's a lot of taunt.
Yeah.
So now there's a lot of secrets. It's funny. This Mad Scientist, after this discussion, and Web Spinner seem like the dark horses of this adventure. Like when they got previewed and we looked at them, we're just like, these cards suck. And then you get them in and you play with them and you're just like, well, they just work. Like they just get value. I
think you got to play with this card to really understand how good it actually is. Like you can look at it, you can imagine all the scenarios, and then you can imagine all the terrible scenarios, but when you see it in action, you feel the impact it makes on the game.
Yeah.
And that's when you really kind of... And some of these cards, I'm going to admit, like Wailing Soul, I'm guessing, because I haven't found a reason to put this card in any decks yet.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at Wailing Soul. I'm just like, I hate you. I think I hate you.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that in a second. But yeah, Mad Scientist is weird. Yeah, I think you're still like you're giving him a little more than I think he's worth. But the fact that you've made me reevaluate my grade is enough for me. So, cool. Let's move on to the next card, Mr. Zombie Chow. Another 1 mana minion. Neutral, no minion type, common rarity, costs 1 mana, 2 attack, 3 health, death rattle, restore 5 health to the enemy hero.
God, I wish Trump was on this show right now, because Trump is in love with this card. Although I don't know if he still is, but man, he loves this card so much, and I'm not feeling it.
Aw.
But I want someone to be. We're all so close, but I feel like this card is one of the most controversial cards in this set, and
I'm confused
I want
by
someone
it.
to have that A value that, I don't.
Oh, I don't think there's any way in hell this card is an A. Like
No.
Absolutely no way.
No.
But it definitely has a place. But
Sure.
it's strange.
How would it be?
It's weird. It's weird to look at this card, and I'm not even sure. This much like Wailing Soul, I'm kind of guessing on, because on face value, I'm looking at Zombie Chow, and I'm like, all right, it's 2/3 for 1, which is amazing. Obviously, this is gonna have a home in aggressive decks, but that restoring 5 health to the enemy hero it kind of negates itself, because you need to get 3 attacks in on your opponent with this guy to make it technically worth it.
Which is why I don't actually think it fits in aggro. I think it fits better in control, because if you don't attack the hero, if you're using it to remove other minions at 1 or 2 mana, then when you heal the other hero for 5 health, it doesn't actually do anything.
Thank you for stealing my next point. Thank you so much, Jocelyn.
No. You said aggressive, and I was like, no.
I was saying at a glance, that was my first thought. And the reason I started to grade it higher was when I have to get out of magic. I'm like, no, I'm evaluating this card from a magic angle where health is not super important. And actually this would be even better in magic because you can go above the maximum health you start with, but that's neither here or there. But the thing is that in Hearthstone, you can attack and target minion to minion, where in magic that doesn't exist.
Yes. So this actually doesn't go in any aggro decks currently. Okay. I'm seeing it a lot in Control Priest, Control Paladin. I think Kalento was running this in that Paladin deck you were talking about earlier, Garrett.
Yes.
It just gives you more options on turn 1 for control, where you're not attacking face ever early anyway. So you just need something to play on turn 1, which was always for control decks, pass on turn 1.
Yeah, always, exactly.
Right?
Whereas this guy slots in kind of perfectly because you're just like, fine, I get a removal and this death rattle means nothing.
Yes. And so it does have its place in those decks. My issue with it, and the reason why I'm giving it a C, is that means it's really only good when you get it on turn 1. And it sucks when you top deck it on turn 15. And that's, even though you're a control deck, the other person's health does matter towards the end of the game.
Yes.
When you're trying to finish them off. And sometimes he's unplayable. I can't put this down because if I happen to give you 5 health, I will not be able to finish you off anytime soon. And so for that reason, it's just middle of the road.
Yeah.
I can see why it's there. I don't really like it.
I really like it in the Kalento Paladin deck we're talking about. Because there are a lot of other 2-in-1 drops. So if I get this, if I top deck this card on turn 2 or turn 3, I can still play it, and very likely I haven't done damage to my opponent, and it's going to trigger some kind of positive effect, like a knife from my knife juggler.
Sure.
So that's why I'm kind of pulling a U. It's like, well, I think it has a pretty strong place in one deck, so I'm giving it a being constructed. And
it has a really good place in those couple of decks. Right. But again, though, even in those decks, I still feel like drawing it late really sucks. One reason why the Priest can potentially still take advantage of it is the Aconite Priest combo.
Oh, that was going to be my point.
You can play it and then do 5 damage instead. But I don't know.
That is kind of awesome, yeah. But that's the same reason I gave Mad Scientist a lower grade, because you draw it at the end of the game, and you've already got all your secrets, and it's just a shitty 2-drop. So it's the same kind of general concept. Obviously, I think healing
Mad Scientist in the decks he's played in are never going to go to the end of the game. It's like if you're never going to get to the 30th card in your deck, whereas a control priest very likely is going to have games that go to fatigue.
And you could argue that healing your opponent for 5 is much worse than doing nothing when it dies.
Yeah, that's still a 2/2.
Which is a point that
doesn't matter anymore. Yeah. At that point. So
yeah.
The fact that it costs 1 mana matters very little when both people have 10 mana each turn. It's at that point it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The discount really matters on turn 1. That's when it really matters.
So have we set our grades, Jocelyn? What's your grades on Zombie Chow?
B in Constructed and C in Arena. And the C in Arena is mostly because I think that you're going to get the most value out of this in a very specific style of deck, like we talked about. And then I think that it combos really well with other certain cards, like Dills mentioned the Soul Priest. I think it goes really well with the next card, which is Wailing Soul, as well as the Undertaker, which talked about earlier. I mean, it's another 1 mana card that has Death Rattle that's common, right? So
yeah.
But where it combos well with those cards, combos are just not good in Arena. So C in Arena.
Absolutely. I did the same. I did Being Constructed, C in Arena, and Dills.
C in Constructed because I even in those decks I feel like there's better options. And C- in Arena because in Arena you never want to give health to the other guy. You just don't. It's just bad. It's bad news to do that. And also, like in Arena, I think people overvalue things like Flame Imp in Arena too. I think Flame Imp is actually not that great in Arena. The discount for you get the 3/2, you deal 3 damage to yourself, can really be detrimental in Arena games where you're not likely to be playing an aggressive style anyway, unless you get this perfect draft that's really aggressive.
Yeah,
so
not to mention
I don't
it's,
like playing aggressive cards.
Yeah, not to mention it's Warlock specific. I would honestly much rather spend the 2 mana to draw a card.
Yeah.
Or the 2 health and 2 mana.
Yeah, the 2 health, exactly. The thing is that in Constructed, he fits really well into Zoo because your whole point is to get a huge tempo lead early. And in Arena, cards that have big drawbacks like that for a mana disadvantage, you get more value for the mana, but in the end, you might not actually even realize that value. I would much rather have an Argent Squire, honestly, than this guy. So.
Yep. All right, let's move on to the next one. Wailing Soul. Neutral minion, no minion type, rare rarity. Costs 4 mana to play. He has 3 attack, 5 health, and he has a battle cry that reads, silence your other minions. Like I said earlier, I think I hate this card. I'm so confused by Wailing Soul.
I think it's good in one specific type of deck that doesn't work yet, but might work at some point.
It's good in a bad deck. Congratulations.
Yeah. Well, maybe nobody's figured out the exact combination of cards that make this deck work, or which class it is that makes this deck work. But basically, what you're talking about is you're talking about a deck that's going to run Ancient Watchers. It's going to run Dancing Swords. It's going to run all the cards that have negative death rattles for you or can't attack. So the type of effects that you would want to silence off of your own creatures.
Yeah, Venture
That's
Co-Merc
what this is going to be good. Venture Co-Merc, sure.
Yeah, chat rooms.
But even then, though, Venture Co-Merc's going to make this guy cost 7 mana when you play it. So even that's not good. So it's iffy. And I feel like at some point someone's going to figure something cool out. It just hasn't happened yet. And the problem is the deck is going to center around getting this. Otherwise, you're going to have a bunch of crappy battle or, death rattle effects that are not going to get silenced because you didn't draw Wailing Soul.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like that's why I don't think this card's going to be good because everything you just said exactly. Like, well, you only have 2 of these in your deck. What if you never pull them? You're just going to screw yourself over.
Yeah.
I think the one thing that it does actually pair really well with, which actually might make me give it a B-, but I think it would be really good in a Paladin deck who's running Equality, because you could Equality the other guy, because that changes the health of all minions, and then you could do Wailing Soul and get all the health of your minions back.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So this is the thing. Maybe there's a deck where you could play stuff like Equality. You could play Ancient Watchers, the Beast, Dancing Swords, all of the crap.
No. Stop it. I think Jocelyn had it right because it's like a soft positive. You're like there's only it's there to counteract your own equality. I don't think you throw everything else in there because then the deck becomes.
Why are you putting this in?
It lets you as a paladin. It lets you have some more minions and to not be afraid to play things and then play Equality, which most paladins have Equality. I think pretty much
every paladin
pretty much all
is
do,
running
And
Equality.
in chat just said, I don't think you can reset health after Equality. Yes, you can.
You absolutely
And not
can.
only that, they go back to full health. So even if they were previously damaged, when they get Equality, they go to 1 health. When you silence off that Equality, they go to full health. So if you Equality an 8/8 and he becomes an 8/1, but he was damaged, then you silence it, he is now an 8/8 again. It's healing, actually.
Yeah.
So in that particular case, that could be the wombo combo that makes this card good.
Why can't I think of the name of the shaman card? It's 1 mana, does 1 silences the minion, does 1 damage.
Earthshock?
Earthshock, yeah. You ever try an Earthshock, a minion that was Equality? You're gonna have a bad day. You're gonna have a real bad day.
The other thing that the chat room is pointing out right now is against a freeze mage, which we talked about earlier, isn't really that prevalent right now. But if you do get all your minions frozen, this technically could then thaw them, but you have to keep in mind that any other effects that are currently on your minions will be silenced as well. So it's not like it only thaws them out and removes the freeze. It also gets rid of everything else.
It's the absolute counter to Freeze Mage. So this could have a place in tournament decks where the other guy is running a Freeze Mage. Or where you can make I've actually heard of some tournaments where they allow you to, pick out of, say, 5 decks or something like that, where you can bring extra decks that you don't know if you're necessarily going to use. And then, like Ascande's brother just played this that college tournament where they give you, tuition money. in that tournament, he was allowed to basically bring as many decks as he wanted. He just could only play 2 different types of decks in each match. So if you end up going against the Freeze Mage, this is the straight up counter to that. This allows you to actually attack against them. So it does have that one use as well, which is important to point out.
Yeah. I'm so confused by this card. So Jocelyn, what'd you give it?
C in constructed, but I might change that to a B- just because of the potential use in the Paladin deck. But then D in arena.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dills?
Yeah, C and D. Again, I want to see the deck that makes really good use of this. That's not countering Freeze Mage. I want to see that deck. And I wish that deck could actually be good, but I don't believe that it is.
Yeah, agreed. I gave it a C- in constructed and a D in arena. With the asterisk that I think this might be one of those cards that down the road we're proven wrong about.
Maybe.
I'm just so confused.
I want to go
by
try it. I want to go make a deck now.
But yeah.
I mean, it's a fun idea. It's worth a go.
Yeah, it's just like I said, I think I hate you, Wailing Soul.
In casual play.
I think I hate you, but I'm not sure. So, anyways, onwards to Feugen. Feugen, neutral minion, no minion type, legendary rarity, 5 mana, 4 attack, 7 health, death rattle. If Stalagg also died this game, summon Thaddeus, the 11/11, with no
beefy.
Yeah, he's just a big beefy son of a gun.
We technically got 3 legendaries with this.
Technically, yes, but Thaddeus cannot actually be slotted into your deck. He is a
No.
result of playing two other legendaries. That's why we're not reviewing Thaddeus, because he can't technically be played.
He's amazing.
He's
it's
just
a
a
free
result.
11/11.
He's like an
Best
A
card
plus
ever.
plus 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 plus. Jocelyn, would you give Feugen?
I gave him a B in constructed. Well, I don't know about you guys, but at least at the lower ranks right now, I am seeing a lot of priest.
Oh yeah.
So yeah,
Everybody wants to try this too, right? Everybody wants to try this.
So with the 4 attack, the priest can't just one-shot him with one of his Shadow Pain cards or Shadow Death cards. So, I mean, it's in a really sweet spot right now. With the 7 health, it makes it pretty beefy. You're probably gonna run 2 minions into it trying to kill it. So I think it's the better of the 2. And then in arena, and plus it has that super sweet death rattle thing that if you get both of them, it's just awesome. But then in arena, B, because you lose the super sweet death rattle part.
Yeah.
Wait, you said C in arena. C in arena. That's what you said.
Yeah, C in arena.
Yes. Okay.
Dills, what about you?
I'm saying a B-. I really think I might go with a C, but I think that this works in some decks. The problem is that you have to draw this one and the Stalagg, and then they both have to die and not get silenced and not get whatever. So it's just not reliable at all. However,
one of them can get silenced as long as it's the first one. If it's the second one,
right?
then,
Yeah. As long as the second one doesn't get silenced, it's fine.
Yeah, so
Because when
don't
it dies,
silence
it's
the first
still
one.
Feugen. Yeah, it's a good point.
That was the thing that was blowing my mind, because I had a Feugen and a Stalagg played against me this week by a warrior. He used Brawl and summoned 2 Thaddiuses. And I was just like, bug! This is a bug!
No, they both died.
Yong Woo was
Yeah.
just
Die
like,
at the same time,
chill the
yeah.
F out.
Yeah.
This is working as intended. I was like, well, fine. Then I call lore bug, because there should never be 2 Thaddiuses.
Well, I've seen 4 Thaddiuses as well recently, where somebody was able to reincarnate or I can't remember exactly how they did.
There's all kinds of weird
There's a
shit
Baron
you can do.
Rivendare crap, and
Rivendare.
it was insane.
Brawl with Baron Rivendare, and all 3 of them are not the one that lives. If you're in that happy, magical Christmas land where the perfect thing happened, congratulations.
It's not reliable, but it's fun and it's cool, and I like this kind of card in the game. I think it adds a lot of really fun flavor, and if it ever does become really popular, then it's basically just going to bring back the rise of the big game hunter. So, because the big game hunter, you might even see decks with 2 of them if this ever gets really popular, because you can kill Stalagg and you can kill Thaddeus.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing it combos really, really well with is the Void Terror, because if you throw the Void Terror down in between the 2 legendaries, then you get 2 Thaddiuses and the Void Terror.
Yeah. So I've seen people running these in that crazy demon deck, because that does have Void Terrors in it. I've seen people running these in Warrior, like you said. I've seen it in Control Priest. I'm kind of seeing this in any type of control deck. Any deck that feels like it can live long enough to get this combo done. It's actually somewhat kind of viable. That's why I think it's a B minus.
Yeah, because the stats aren't terrible on either of these guys.
No, they're fine on their own.
Like Feugen, while he doesn't hit as hard, he doesn't actually die to anything except hard removal. Like Hexes, Polymorph, Assassinate. He doesn't die to Kodos. He doesn't die to Shadow Word Pain or Death. Like, and 7 health is quite a lot to be contended.
Think about the other 4/7 minion in the game, which is the 6 mana cost with spell damage, and this is actually okay because the spell damage oftentimes isn't really the good. You'd rather play cheaper spell damage, right, than 6 cost spell damage.
Exactly. So you can actually use a spell the same turn.
Exactly. Yeah. So in this case, you get that same body for 1 less mana. 5 mana 4/7 is pretty sweet.
Yep.
So this one's okay. In Arena though, I'm giving this one a D. I think that you're not going to get the other one. So.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, I was giving it an F, and then I changed it to a D because a 4/7 body is actually okay. But I don't know what legendary it's up against where I pick it, honestly.
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know why.
Even like Peggle and Tink. If you get Peggle, Tink, and this guy,
I guess I'd want a 4/7 over those two. But yeah,
but those are Fs, and this is a D. So by process of grading, it's still the pick.
Yeah,
so,
but it's a really fun, cool card, and I like this, and I want to see more stuff like this. I want to see more interesting stuff that may not ever work, but if it does, it's friggin' sweet. I love the idea that Blizzard is throwing stuff like this in the game, and I want more of it. So even though I don't think it's necessarily a great card, it's gonna be super fun when you're just playing with your friends, and you're just like, yeah, dude, you just see that? Two Thaddy says, "What's up now?" That kind of stuff, and then they go, "Deathwing, now what's up?" That kind of stuff is going to be amazing.
I lost to a Deathwing this week. I was so sad.
Deathwing loses. Yeah, that's so good.
It's just like, crap, I really don't have an answer to this. Wow.
Should have been playing your own Deathwing. That's the best
I just lose. I get the same. I was entertaining a C in Arena, but you make good points still. So I actually ended up with the same grades as you. B- and constructed and D in Arena.
Yeah, there's just really no case we're going to pick it. So.
Except with worse legendaries that are also Fs, in my opinion. So there you go. Let's talk about his counterpart, Stalagg, shall we? Who has the mirror opposite minions, which I thought, or stats, which I thought was a wonderful touch, given this fight in the actual raid. Stalagg's also a neutral minion with no minion type, legendary as well. 5 mana, 7 attack, 4 health, death rattle. If Feugen also died this game, summon Thaddeus.
There you go.
So
this is worse. This one's worse. Yeah. 7 health is worse.
Or 4 health is worse, you mean?
I still run into people who have the old mentality of, why isn't a 9/5 beast for 7 mana really good? And you know why? Because that's 5 health. So 9 attack is kind of useless when you never get to attack with it, and that's kind of where Stalagg falls into. So don't fall into the trap, people. This one's worse.
I like Stalagg. He's been doing work for me.
Well, he's fine when you run the other one, but like I'm saying, if you had to pick one or the other to draw and play, you'd prefer to have Feugen, right? Because you prefer to have the 7 than the 7/4.
It's probably results oriented thinking on my part. I've been playing him behind a lot of taunt, and my opponents just haven't had a targeted removal spell to deal with them. But I've gotten some value out of Stalagg this week.
He's generally a 1-for-1 though. This is the idea behind it, really, is that Feugen is going to be a 2-for-1 more often than Stalagg. Stalagg will be a 1-for-1 most of the time. But if you take away all the other stuff, if you take away the Thaddeus and all that stuff, if you just look at the card itself, he's going to be a 1-for-1, whereas Feugen will be a 2-for-1.
But I kind of want him. I kind of want him to die. I want him to die.
And that was going to be my point. But yeah.
But don't you want to take 2 things with you?
Yeah, but I mean, technically, I'm killing. He's dying, taking a card with him, and then I'm almost getting 1.5 cards because I'm summoning Thaddeus.
If you actually get Thaddeus, though,
it's a good point.
The game hasn't gotten to that
silent. You're right. You're right. Feugen could not have come out yet. Stalagg could have been silenced. There's plenty of monkey wrenches that can be thrown in this. But
I'm giving him the vanilla test right now only.
You're right. Okay.
Then we add in the other stuff.
You're right. I think I over-evaluated this card.
Well, but the thing is, though, if you're looking at it as everyone else is going to be playing, is it Feugen? Is that how you say it?
That's how
Feugen?
Feugen. Feugen. I've been saying
So
Feugen.
if everyone is playing him, you don't actually have to have both of the cards in order to summon Thaddeus. It's whoever owns the card that dies second. So if everyone else is going to be running the
But everyone's gonna be
4/7,
running both, though. Everyone's always going to be running both. No one's ever going to run just one of these. Because
well, that's
we're
kind
relying
of
on
the
each
point that
other.
I'm just going to try to make is that if you run the one with less health, then you have a chance that your opponent has had the other one, and then so you could get a Thaddeus with only taking one spot in your deck.
I don't think that's
I mean,
worth it. I don't think it's worth the risk.
an if type scenario, but especially where
Huge
he has
if,
a little-
though.
It is an
big
if.
if.
I know it's an if. But
If you're going to run one of these, you might as well run the other. Because if you're just running one of these, they're not stellar cards.
It's like,
so
to
then
me,
if
that's
everyone else is running the other, then you should have this one.
but not everyone else is running the other. It's like running a faceless manipulator without a really big minion in your own deck. You're relying on the other guy to play some big minion that you can then faceless, where it's
Didn't say it was a good plan.
much better. Yeah.
Oh, he doesn't.
Just for the listeners out there who may think, "Oh, that's a great idea."
Her point wasn't that you had to faceless it. This will trigger off of a death off of Feugen, whether you're
No,
the owner
I understand
or
that,
not.
but what I'm saying is it's similar to running a faceless in a deck that doesn't have anything that you'd want a faceless in your own deck.
Right.
You're
You know what I
relying
mean?
on your
Yeah.
opponent.
If you don't run the other one and you only run one, that's akin to that, basically.
Okay.
You're
Well-
definitely going to want both if you're going to run one. Just run both.
All right.
You have both. If you have one, you have both. Just
Okay.
put them both in there.
So, Jocelyn, what'd you give Stalagg?
I gave him a. Oh, I feel like I overgraded this one, or maybe got them confused. Because
Yeah,
I have him as B in
worse.
constructed and then B- in arena, and I think that definitely worse in arena, and I think I've graded him way too high in arena. I got them mixed up.
So, C or D in arena? What would you give it?
Yeah, at least a C, if
Okay.
not worse.
All right. Dills?
Sorry.
I'm going B-, the same as Feugen, because I think you just run both of these together if you run one of them, so they both get the same grade in constructed. Even though technically I like the body of Feugen better, I still think it doesn't really matter in the end. They both belong in any deck that you put one in, so they both get B- in constructed. I give this an F in arena because I would never pick this in arena, ever. Unless I'd already picked Feugen, which is a huge if.
I'm still giving him a D in arena because I would pick him over Peggle and Tickmaster.
Yeah.
I gave him a B in constructed.
But in arena though, you'd rather have almost anything than a 7/4 for 5. I don't know. The 4 health is what kills it.
Yeah.
You know.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
I
Health
agree.
dies to everything. Swipes and you know the mages, which are everywhere, are all gonna kill it with their flame strikes, and it's just bad.
The chat room's like, you can duplicate one if the other died. More Thaddeus. Get out.
This one's a board filled with Thaddeus.
You know
somehow.
all the crazy wombo combos that can't happen.
Yeah.
However, yeah.
Next on the chopping block is an unabashedly amazing card, Death's Bite. Let's talk about this. It's a neutral weapon, common rarity. It is a warrior specific, or no, it's not a neutral weapon. It's a warrior weapon.
Yes.
Sorry, I almost said neutral weapon, warrior specific, which makes no sense.
Neutral weapon would be pretty sweet though.
Yeah,
I would
yeah.
like to see one of those.
It's a warrior weapon. It's a common rarity. It costs 4 mana to play. It has 4 attack, 2 durability, and a death rattle. Death rattle on a weapon? What? And it says deal 1 damage to all minions. So this card basically reads, pay 4 mana for 8 damage across 2 turns and then get a free whirlwind.
Yep.
This is
That is
just
worse.
this is banana pants. I love
At
this.
worst, it's a true silver champion, and then it's a friggin' what's the other one? What's the 5 damage weapon? Arcanite Reaper. At its worst, it goes from being a true silver into being an Arcanite Reaper for 4 mana.
Yep.
Like the first swing is true silver, the second swing is Arcanite Reaper.
Yep.
At its worst.
In its worst case scenario.
That is so
It
friggin'
gets
good.
better the second time you use it.
It's so friggin' good.
Yeah, Death's Bite. This is just a slap an A on this across the board from all of us.
I went A+ on this guy.
I went A+ in arena. I just went A in constructed. Well, screw it. Plus A+ across the I have nothing bad to say about this card.
It's
It fulfills all my quota. It's good if I'm behind. It's good if I'm ahead. It fits good just in the 4-mana curve. It's good in my curve. Like
yeah, it just eats up Zoo alive. It does all the things you want from a weapon, and there's certain situations where when you're playing Control Warrior, like this has allowed you basically to it opened up, so it took up 2 slots and then it opened up 2 more because you got rid of a Whirlwind, and then you also got rid of Gorehowl. So you don't need Gorehowl anymore with this guy around. You got 2 of these. It's just too many weapons. So you have your Fiery Wind Axe, and then you follow it up with Deathbite. So you have a 2-mana weapon and a 4-mana weapon, which basically deals with all the early stuff. No problem there. And then you have a huge tempo lead going into the mid to late game, which is where Control Warrior just shines anyway. It made Control Warrior just
even better,
like 50% better than it already was. And
it made an already stellar deck just awesome, just even better. I love Deathbite. So do we even? I don't think we need to go name by name.
I mean, just whatever.
A plus across the
warrior,
board.
Play this, whatever warrior you want. You can have a mid-tempo warrior now, and it would go in that too. It's always going to go.
Play Deathbite, and for all the the free to play players out there, thank God it actually made one of the most expensive decks in the game slightly cheaper because you don't need the Gorehowl.
It's actually cut down a little. I'm now starting to see maybe 4 or 5 legendaries in some of them because you have a little more reach too with this weapon. You can actually go to the face and still be killing stuff. So it gives you a little more damage.
Yep.
And that was sometimes the issue with Control Warrior was how do I actually finish you off? I've controlled the board forever and ever, and now I actually have to do 30 damage to you at some point. And this has actually kind of fixed that problem a little bit as well because you can actually hit face. Whereas Gorehowl, you could kind of never hit face, or else you would lose the weapon.
Unless it was your killing blow. Unless you're going to kill him with Gorehowl, you don't swing. So Deathbite, play it. Final card, Dark Cultist. This is the pre-specific minion. Has no minion type. It's a common rarity. It's 3 mana. It has 3 attack, 4 health. Hell yeah! I don't need anything else. Play it. Oh wait, it has a death rattle. Give a random friendly minion plus 3 health. All right, snap pick. Putting it in my deck.
Pretty good.
Done. Yeah, this is great. Priests really needed some early game presence, and this gives it to them with an upside.
Although I'm going to point out one negative thing, even though it's awesome in a lot of ways. I think that in the priest deck, the 3 spot wasn't the biggest black hole, because in the 3 spot you had Harvest Golems and you had Injured Blade Masters, and both of those are actually fine in the 3 spot. This is better and actually gives more options in the 3 spot.
I was about to say, yeah, because that's only 4 cards, and that's not enough, in my opinion, for a good curve.
True, but you're also putting Thought Steals in, and that's 3 mana. So it's tough to justify having 6 to 8 3 mana cost cards.
But do you want to Thought Steal on turn 3? I don't. I'd rather play a minion.
No, you don't, but you definitely including Thought Steal in your deck. So what I'm saying is in the 3 slot in the entire deck, it's getting a little crowded now, and you're going to have to make some decisions because this card is really good. So I wish that it was a 2-drop. I wish that it was maybe a 2/3 plus 2 with the death rattle.
I was about to say, I was like, you better adjust the stats on
it
because I wish it was a 1-drop, 3/4 for 1 with the.
Well, no, like if they nerfed it to a 2/3 that gave plus 2 health on death rattle, and then made it a 2-drop, this would have helped Priest even more. That's basically. I'm not saying that it's bad. I'm saying that Priest wasn't lacking the 3 necessarily. They were really lacking the 2.
Gotcha. So you're saying it could have addressed the issues of Priest a little better.
Even better, yeah.
This isn't as tailor made as we may like it to be, but it's still a very good card.
It's a very good card. I'm not putting this card down. I'm just saying that right now in the Priest deck, the 2-drop is kind of only occupied by the Wild Pyromancer. And that's really where they were missing something, because their 1-drop was the Northshire Cleric. Then the 2-drop, you don't really want to play the Pyromancer because you want to use it in combination with spells and actually get the value. So that was really where Priest was kind of like, I hope I can damage my Cleric and then heal it on turn 2 because that's my best move on turn 2. And turn 3 was actually fine because it was, Injured Blademaster Circle or Harvest Golem. And now it's potentially also Dark Cultist. So it just crowded up the 3 a little bit. So that's all I'm pointing out. It's an interesting little little tidbit around how this card actually plays out when you're playing the games.
Jocelyn, would you end up grading Dark Cultist?
I gave it Bs across the board. I think that 3-4 for 3 is great just on the surface. So, I mean, it's something that I would pick in Arena. And then in terms of constructed, I mean, there really isn't that big of a downside other than everything that Dill's just said. And the only real downside I've seen people mentioning is that you can just kill all the other minions and then you don't get the death rattle. But I mean, like, you have to have a lot of removal early on in order to kill everything else and then kill this last. So you're just leaving a 3-4 on the board longer. So I think it's a good card.
Yeah, because, I mean, even if he had nothing written on him, he's still a good card. You're getting an extra health for your mana.
Yeah, the point that you just made, Jocelyn, is actually really important, too, because whenever you can alter the opponent's turn, whenever they are forced to play around a card or do something different than they would have done it normally, that's a positive for you in almost every situation.
Yeah, it's a sign of a
so
good
having
card.
them have to play around that death rattle, kill the other minions before they can kill this guy, unless they can do it with simple minion trading, then it's going to be good for you in the end. It's going to cause them to do something in a way that might not have been the best way they could have done it had it not had this effect. So,
yeah.
Yeah. This is a negative, though, if you have a Soul Priest out, correct?
No,
because
it's not a healing effect. It's an added health effect.
Oh, that's awesome.
So it's not if it said heal a friendly minion for 3 health.
Okay, so it's
hurt
functioning
them.
like a Shadowed Sun Cleric.
Yeah, it's just a buff. It's not
pumping.
a heal.
It's not a heal.
Yeah.
Cool. I needed that clarified. Dills, what'd you give it? You give it a...
I give it a B in constructed. Like I said, all those things about the clogged up nature of the 3-drop, that doesn't matter. It's still in there. It's still good. And it just makes Priest a little more early game oriented all around. Now you can put the zombie chows in there too if you really feel like you want to make that happen. So yeah, I wish that it was a 2-drop. My ideal situation would have been 2 mana, 2/3, give a friendly minion 2 health, but it's not, and still a B. It would have been an A if it was that. In Arena, I give it a B+ because I think it's even better in Arena, because then it's just in Arena there's actually less good 3-drops in general. So 3-drops are one of the toughest spots to fill reliably in Arena. So I really like this card.
Cool. I gave it a B across the board. Would have probably the only reason I'm holding back from the A is because I don't think it necessarily helps you if you're behind. But if you're a parity or if you're ahead, I think it's a good card.
But even if you're behind, you're playing a 3/4. You know?
Right.
Putting a minion on the board,
Right,
so it's not a bad. It's sometimes if you're behind and you play the 3s that you could have had before, they were significantly worse. So
right. But I mean, it's like if it was a 3, if he was what he was and he actually impacted the board the turn he was played, then I'd grade him higher. But he's still a stellar card. If I see this in Arena, I'm grabbing it every time. So B's across the board for me on Dark Cultist. I love this card.
Yes.
This is not a Wailing Soul. I'm not staring at this just like, I think I hate you. I'm not sure. No, it's just like, you and me. We're going out tonight. Let's go.
We're making this happen. We're going to 12 wins. Let's do this.
Awesome. Well, that does it for our Construct set review, Construct Quarter. Let's get into emails and round out the show.
Hello.
Hello, it's me.
Hello.
Just quickly, do you get my message?
Yep.
Oh.
Hello, brother.
Emails, you can send them to TACpodcast@gmail.com. This week, our first email comes to us from Paul, who writes, what legendaries are on your auto shard list until you craft all the cards you want or need at least? Jocelyn? No, you go first. I'm going first. You went first on the last thing. Going first. Obviously, Nat Pagel, Tinkmaster, honestly, Baron Geddon.
Nah, he's good in Control Warrior, though.
Yeah, I know, but I don't play that type of Control Warrior, and I'd rather have the dust.
Can I talk now?
Yeah.
You have permission.
Okay. I think really anything that doesn't naturally fit into what you're playing or fill that hole in your deck. So Beast, King Mukla, I think. If you're looking for an influx of dust.
Unless you're
to craft
Dills.
something like a Leroy, absolutely.
Mukla? Oh
yeah.
my. That's insane. That's insanity.
If
you were just
starting,
starting, if you were
really
just starting out,
ones,
would you keep Mukla? If you had no
Mukla
legendaries,
is so good.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is. Are you serious right now? You guys are tripping.
Okay, I'm not saying that he's bad, but in comparison to some of the other legendary cards. Well, the second part of the question is until you craft all the cards you need. So if you don't have, Alex Straza or Ysera or Leroy or, like whatever, Tyrion.
Blood Mage Thalnos, the legendary everyone should have.
But the thing is, it's dangerous to start. I don't want to condone getting rid of a legendary you get 400 dust only back for it. Mm-hmm. So at some point,
it's not a golden,
Mukla will be good, and you should keep it because it's better to get rid of cards that will never be good than to get rid of a card that will someday be good. So how do
you know a card is never going to be good?
Because it's Gruul. Because it's like there's plenty of ones that are just bad. No, that's a good point. I can't in good conscience recommend getting rid of a card that fits in a lot of decks.
Mukla does not in a lot of decks. No.
Oh my God, you're so tripping. He fits in so many decks.
What decks?
He's a really good card, you guys. For 5 mana,
what decks are you?
5/5. You force the other person to have to play bananas that cost 1 each to get 1/1. He outpaces the bananas by a lot. On turn 3, he gives you huge tempo advantage. It's really a good card. Trust me.
It's fine, but what decks are actually running
I'm not saying that he is a bad card. I'm saying that there are other legendaries that if you were in a state where you really need dust, I dusted Mukla months and months and months ago, and then crafted.
I really wish you had him sometimes, though, I bet. Because he's a beast. He goes at all your 100 decks, too. Oh, my God. What are you doing?
And then I'm trying to remember. I can't remember. No, it wasn't Leroy that I crafted because I didn't have that in Intertacular. But whatever it was that I crafted went in all my decks. It might have been Cairn.
Very likely. Cairn.
Yeah. And it was that was the last 400. I was sitting there staring at almost enough dust. And I was like, well, I haven't used Mukla in any of my decks. And I could really use a Cairn. And so I just made the call that put me over the edge to craft the legendary that I really needed and that went in a lot of different things. So I think that there's some situations where, those middle of the road ones that you aren't necessarily using all the time, and you want something like a Tyrion for your Paladin deck or something, because that's what you really like to play, I think there's an argument there for that.
Sure, but I just disagree. That's all. I think if it's a card that you will eventually be able to use, you should hold on to it because you're not going to get. You're basically getting a quarter of its value, and later, if you're going to want it, you're going to have to spend 1,600 dust on it later.
No, and I completely agree with that. And obviously, it's not the best state to be disenchanting anything that you may potentially need. But I think that there's an argument for having fun, and it can be very frustrating when you're just missing that one card or something to play the way that you really, really want to play. And I went a really long time without some of these big basic cards. And not basic cards. Sorry. I mean, the big legendaries that everybody has and everybody plays and they're in every deck. And it can be really, really frustrating to be that player who just doesn't have those cards. And my level of enjoyment of the game absolutely went up once I started getting those cards. So I think that it's just something to take into account if you're not playing often enough to grind up through Arena or now chat disagrees too. Fair enough. Fine.
I just think you're going to regret it if you get rid of cards. If anyone can point me
to a deck that's actually using Mukla right now that's getting results.
Backspace Rogue, one of the top legendary decks out there right now, uses Mukla.
Okay.
You're tripping if you haven't heard of a deck that uses Mukla. Every aggro
The only deck I've heard
Mukla.
Of that uses Mukla is your god-awful Paladin deck.
What are you talking about? My awesome deck? My awesome deck.
Yeah.
He's an aggro deck. Really, Mukla makes every aggro deck better because you get a 5/5 on the board right now for 3 mana that has to be dealt with and is not easy to deal with. So he's a good one. I would not put him at all. The question was, what are your auto shard legendaries? And that is definitely not one of them. I would say.
Well, he was asking
Master,
our opinion, so it
Beast.
can be one of ours. It doesn't have to be yours.
No. But if you say, all right, fine. He's yours. He's not mine. Send all your angry letters to Garrett and Jocelyn when you shard him. Tank Master, the Beast.
Line up behind duplicate fanboys, by the way.
Millhouse Mana Storm, Nat Pagle. Lore Walker chose Too Fun, so I wouldn't recommend doing that one because he's just really fun. And you're going to have fun with him at some point. I would say Gruul.
Gruul, definitely. I'd get rid of him so quick.
That's pretty much it. I think all the other ones have some use somewhere, and you should not shard them just because you want something else really bad. You should be patient. Be patient. And get rid of all the other crap. Shard all the other crap. There's plenty of crap.
I've sharded the hell out of things because I only have so much money I can spend on this game, and there's decks I'd rather play than the
No, I have too, but I don't. I think that a legendary that I will one day maybe want to use, and to just get 400 out of it, I can't.
Wally Waffles, Nose Dormu. Just get rid of him.
Yeah, but Nose Dormu is also really fun too.
Yeah,
so,
he is
again.
super fun. If you're at like my point where you're almost at the cusp of having just about every card you want, yeah, hold on to him. But if you're just I think Jocelyn made a really good point. If you're just starting out and you know what you're going for, there's an argument to be made for, I really need a Leroy just to tie this deck together that I'm going to grind the ladder with. You probably.
But there's lots of epics and rares that are just absolute crap that you can get rid of instead. The legendaries are so much harder to come by.
Yeah.
That I recommend trying your hardest not to shard ones that will someday be useful. Pit Lords, get rid of all of them. Just dump them Pit Lords. Kidnappers, who needs them? Hungry Crabs, you don't need them. Get rid of them. So I'm just saying, just be careful, you guys.
You need Hungry Crabs.
I've regretted my decisions.
You need Hungry Crabs for those local Hearthstone tournaments that allow sideboarding in case there's a Murloc deck. That's what you need it for.
I remember when I sharded.
It sounded like you say sharded.
I know, I gotta stop saying shard because the question said shard.
Disenchanted.
I never said when I disenchanted Cenarius because I wasn't playing a lot of Druid at the time, and then later when I wanted to play the Druid deck and I didn't have him, I was really upset with myself. So
I did that with Grom. Luckily, I got him again, but
yeah, from experience, I know that sometimes it's painful when you realize later, all I got was 400 freaking dust for that, and I could have had it now for 1,600 dust.
Jocelyn, you want to take the final email?
Sure. This one comes to us from Tom. He says, "Tac, please explain just what a mulligan is and how it relates to Hearthstone. I've heard you guys mention it, and I read it on blogs. I do not understand how it is, quote unquote, a shot not counted against the score, permitted in unofficial play to a player whose previous shot was poor. Certainly, it is not, quote unquote, a stew containing meat, vegetables, etc., especially one made of any available ingredients. Smiley face. Enjoy the show." So, Tom, that is the phase of the game right when you first get in against your opponent and you get a bunch of cards and you can choose what you want to keep and what you want to throw away or what you want to mulligan, and then you get another card in its place.
Yeah, that's what we call the mulligan phase.
Yes.
Yeah, and it doesn't actually make sense. It's correct to note that it's not the proper term because really it should be something else, but it's just the accepted term at this point. So don't worry about it. Don't stay up at nights thinking about.
Yeah, a mulligan is like a do-over.
Yeah, and the do it's but if you were playing poker or something like that and you're playing 5-card draw, you would call it like the redraw, and that's technically what you should call it. Like, how many cards do you redraw? But we've just decided somebody along the way said mulligan, and everyone just went with it, and that's what it is now.
So should we just now call it do-over or redraw and then try to change everyone's mind?
It kind of is
slowly?
a do-over, but it's not. I don't know. It's just technically not totally correct. But yeah,
okay,
it's fine. It's correct in this case because we've decided it is.
Yep. I first heard it in Magic, and I'm sure that's kind of where it seeped into Hearthstone.
It's just it's like saying meta game and stuff like that. You could probably go back and say meta means this and that, not this, but whatever. Who cares what it actually means? Gamers just come up with the term we like, and
we go with it.
We turned
Redefine.
own into pone, and no one seems to question. It's fine.
Yeah, Jocelyn said all
Because
the
you accidentally typed a P instead of an O.
Jocelyn said all the Star Wars helmets look the same when really she meant unique and amazingly designed.
Absolutely.
So, whatever. Anyway, thank you for your emails, guys. That'll do it for this week's episode. Before we leave, though, we're starting a contest this week. I have in my hand, if you're watching the video feed, you can see it, an actual Hearthstone coin. It's got a number 1 on one side and a mana gem on the other. And we've got 4 of these. We want to give away to the live stream and the podcast listeners. So here's what you
do
got.
We have ones for us?
Yes, I'm mailing them. I need
Not
to get
for you.
I need to get your mailing address, actually, Dills. Yes. Yes, we have them for us as well. No, I'm giving them all away. No,
Okay.
no, I'm being
I was
selfish. I'm keeping
Scared
one
me
of
for a
these.
second.
And big thanks to listener Danny, who snagged these for us from the Blizzard booth at San Diego Comic-Con.
That is amazing. I
Yeah.
want it right now.
Yeah, you'll get it soon. Don't worry.
Okay.
But we're going to be giving 4 of these away to the podcast listeners and 4 of them away to the patrons. So patrons, what you got to do is check out tomorrow. By the end of the day, I will be putting up a post that you're going to need to comment on. And that's how you're going to be entered for a chance
Do
to
I
win.
have to make another spreadsheet?
It'll be much smaller, I promise.
Okay.
And podcast listeners, what you need to do is you need to tweet at us. It's that easy. Just tweet at us. Tweet at TACpodcast with the hashtag #CoinAngryChicken.
Because it's the best play ever.
The only way you can make an Angry Chicken worse is spend a coin to put it out. For a chance to win an actual Hearthstone coin. We're going to be picking from the people who tweeted us that, and we got 4 to give away. Hopefully you'll be a lucky winner. Again, tweet at TACpodcast with #CoinAngryChicken for a chance to win an actual Hearthstone coin.
What's a worse play than coining out an angry chicken that doesn't even need the coin? What would be worse than that?
Wisp.
Oh,
Congratulations.
here you go. I know what it is. Coin, Soulfire. Have an empty hand. You're up by 8 health, though. But now you don't have a hand anymore.
Yeah, and also there's the chance that the Soulfire discarded the other Soulfire, so you're only up by 4 health.
Yeah.
That's very true. But you still have at least one card.
And Dills,
right, if that happens.
Dills, in that case, it is literally 50-50 chance.
That's true. Yeah, it is actually. Or how about this? You coin arcane missiles, pass. Yeah, that would be pretty bad too. Because at least with the angry chicken, you have a 1/1 on the board. But if you coin arcane missiles, you just did 3 damage, and that's it. And you wasted your coin.
Awesome.
I think we should play some games where we play the worst possible move in our hand every single turn.
I want to do some games where we build each other's decks.
Oh, let's do that. Okay.
That's what I want to do.
That sounds amazing.
Anyways, that'll do it. As always, we want to thank all of you who are backing the Angry Chicken on patreon.com/TAC. You're supporting the show and really helping us dedicate the time that we would like to this show. And even bringing some extra content like the monthly hangouts, which soon we'll be announcing the next one we'll be doing for the month of August. We actually, just quick mention, we hit 200 patrons this last week, and that is just awesome.
I didn't
So-
know
Very
that.
sweet, guys.
Thank you, all of you guys. We're up to 202 now. So
That is awesome.
Totally badass.
Thank you, 202 people, for being super sweet. And I think some people have dropped off who were once patrons, and they're still super sweet. So there was slightly more at some point, I'm sure.
Possibly, yes. I'm sure people have come and gone. It happens
Yeah.
with these things.
Exactly.
But if you've ever given us support, thank you very much, regardless. This week, I wanted to thank the following specific patrons. Thank you to Robert R., Walter, I hope that's Walter White, didn't give a last name, Jim B., Molly T., and Neil J. Thank you guys very much for being patrons of the Angry Chicken.
And I hope Jim B is Jim Beam. Sorry. Go ahead.
And also in the iTunes store, if you're an iTunes listener, it's wonderful and helps the show out a lot if you leave us a review in the store under the Angry Chicken. So this week I wanted to thank from the US store, Albert SOI, Fold Spectre Fan, NEBZ417, Butt Hash, which
Butt
what a
Hash.
great name, and Chase0911. Thank you guys very much. Anyone from Canada, Jocelyn?
Yeah, we have Nix to thank from Canada this week.
Dills, random country?
No, I
Not
didn't
this
have
week?
time,
Okay.
and I looked at 2 and there wasn't any reviews, so I gave up.
Damn you, 2 random countries. Damn you, shakes fist.
I feel like there's a way to look at all of them easier than changing the store. So if someone knows of that way, could you please email?
Don't think
and
there
tell
is.
me how to do it.
No, I think you have to go and
I
change
think
the
that's it.
store every
Somebody
single time.
Somebody at one time told me that there was, but I don't know if that's actually true or not. They could have been messing with me.
Tactical
I think they
Bacon in the
probably
chat room is typing hashtag butt hash. I love it. That should have been our contest thing there.
That'd be pretty good.
As always, The Angry Chicken is a production of amove.tv and the Frog Pants Studios. Go to frogpants.com. Check out those fine shows. Check out amove.tv for Into the Nexus, this show, Amove Radio, all of those. Our email, once again, is tacpodcast@gmail.com. We record the show live every Monday night at 10 p.m. Eastern Time on twitch.tv/amovetv. And you can get the mobile stream over at alphageekradio.com. Our Twitter is at TACpodcast. I can be found at Garrett Art. Dills is at Willie Dills. And Jocelyn is at GIS Gamer. And you can find the musician, Brian Griffith, who made our intro music and is finally playing Hearthstone, over at briangriffithmusic.com. And please check out my graphic design portfolio over at nomoonart.com. That's that. And check out Into the Nexus if you'd like Heroes of the Storm, because we may have launched a Patreon for that this week. So we're kind of excited.
Hey, nice one.
Yeah.
I feel really, really sad that I'm not going to be doing that show anymore, but I'm
Like-
also really relieved to have opened up some space so other people aren't always mad at me all the time.
Like you won't. You'll be back at some point. We'll have you on
Yeah, I
as a guest.
assume
like-
that
Guest
I'll
spots.
be back.
yeah.
I assume that I will at least be back on for guest spots at some point, and hopefully when other parts of my life calm down a little bit. I had a lot of people tweet at me, I hope everything is okay. Like, nothing happened. It wasn't like a death in the family. It was just an overwhelming thing of
People
every
were-
single night of the week I had shit to do, and I had to make a tough decision about something to drop.
My phone was blowing up.
Yeah.
Everyone's just
Yeah.
like, oh my God, Dills is leaving TSC. No, he's not leaving TSC. He's leaving
No.
the newest show he just joined, because that's how these things work.
It was,
Yeah.
I had to drop a couple of things, and so I was like, I have to drop one podcast. ITN was the newest podcast that we started, and so I was like, that's the one. It makes the most sense. And I dropped some pool nights because I was doing too many of those. I just need more nights to do family and friend things that aren't me having to do work type
Dude,
things.
I can
Dude,
absolutely.
I totally feel the same. I'm dropping volleyball in September for the exact same reason. It's just
What?
too many
What about the little
commitments.
shorty shorts though? Oh.
I'm wearing them
Just on
anyway.
Wednesdays and just for a couple of months.
You can still wear them around the house, right?
I
So
can.
that's-
I understand. I don't podcast or do anything on weekends for the same reason. It's like I have to be
Yeah.
a full-time boyfriend. So
Yeah, you got other stuff.
Fiance.
fiance. Sorry, fiance
Yeah,
now.
full-time. You are an ex-boyfriend who is now a fiance.
I'm not sure it makes me an ex-boyfriend, but what a great way. This is my ex-boyfriend / fiance. What?
Yeah, you should tell people
That's
that.
amazing.
You should say, this is my ex-girlfriend who is now my fiance, and it was over.
Yeah. Anyways, Dills, where can people find you when you're not doing the show?
They can no longer find me on Into the Nexus, but they can still find me on this show, The Instance, TortureCast, doing the Mediocre Golf Association stuff, streaming and all that crap, writing on hearthhead.com, all the other things that I'm still doing. So have no fear, you guys. I'm now not going to be in your face all of the time.
He's still
Just-
losing 99% of his life to entertaining people.
Just most of the time I would be in your face. But yeah, slightly less of it.
Awesome. Jocelyn, how about you?
They can find me right here on AMove TV every Friday night at 8:30 Eastern for the Gamers Inn. We're ramping up all of our extra life planning. It's super awesome. It's extra-life.org/team/TGI for our team page if you want to go donate. We're doing some really cool things this year with our sponsors, and we're going to have a lot of Frog Pants personalities on throughout the day. So check it out. It's going to be October 25th. We're super pumped.
Oh my God, our Twitter is already filling up with hashtag stuff.
God damn it.
Here it comes.
And with that in mind, thanks to our sponsors, DogHouseSystems.com. The code to use is TAC, and it'll get double memory on your next Doghouse Systems gaming rig. Check out the Angry Chicken Special Edition rig while you're over there. You can get the freaking logo art slapped right on the side of your rig that I designed. Check it out. DogHouseSystems.com. We will see you all next week for episode 43 of The Angry Chicken. But until then, Job's done.
Job's done.
Job's done.
Yes!